Hey guys, on today's episode of the Terra TV Twins, we are doing Chucky episode 5, Little Lies. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Terra TV Twins. I'm your host, Rory, and along with my other host, Tom. We discuss everything with Chucky, the TV show. We are watching and reviewing the first season, and we hope to be doing the second season as it comes out. So you guys will be up to date, and you guys can maybe follow along and have more perspective of what's going on, and comment with us and give us your perspective. So we're doing little lies. I love that title. What's going
Yeah,
on, Tom?
nothing. Great episode. Again, I mean, we're kind of sounding like a broken record at this point because we just keep saying great episode, but they are. I mean, this one a little slower paced than the last two because that's what's so great about this show. At certain points within episodes, it almost is like going at a breakneck pace, and so it slowed down, which is not a bad. I'm not saying that in a bad thing. I'm just saying it didn't feel as urgent and as the previous two episodes. So what'd you think the episode?
I agree with 100% what you said. Like, if you guys have been watching this show, it's been like ramped up. I mean, I describe it to people at work. Each episode is like a mini horror movie,
Yep.
and like you watch a horror movie, it usually builds. You may have an opening quick kill, but then it builds. This show opens up and you get the kills, and and the next episode is the same thing. And so it's like each episode is its own little craziness. And I felt the exact same way you did. I felt that it was slowed down a little bit. It wasn't in a bad way. It was like, all right, I can catch my breath now. All right, because like each episode is like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And then when you get to this episode, it's like, all right, what are they doing now? So it kind of almost like resets and gets everything back in line.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Great way of putting it. It's so for the brief synopsis that I've been doing, these one sentence synopsis of the episodes, then we'll just kind of talk about the good stuff. Is that it picks up right where we left off from the after the hospital, which was a great episode last where they're in the hospital, which kind of called back to season 3. And in this episode, Jake and Devin's relationship really starts to heat up, and we get introduced to enemies and allies alike from Chucky's past that are going to begin to cause some issues. So that's a brief synopsis. As now we'll get into it a little bit. So, like I said, it picked right up after the last week's episode. Again, that episode of in the hospital, which was I'm loving how many callbacks they're doing. Like the hospital was a callback to Child's Play 3 when they're at the military academy, and now we get in this episode we get introduced to Nika, and sorry, I lost my place in my notes.
okay. Yeah, the callbacks of these are so great. Like you can see little nuggets of like from different movies, different genres, different like movies of Chucky. So it pays respect to the genre itself.
Yeah. So we get introduced to Nika Pierce, who was she was in both of Curse and Cult of Chucky, and for the just brief on her backstory is that the good guy doll version of Chucky killed Nika's family and framed her for it, and she was institutionalized after the murders because she was blaming a doll. So we um she comes back, Charles Lee Roy or Charles Lee Ray.
You're not the first person ever to do that, by the way.
Yeah.
Charles Lee
Um,
Roy,
Charles Lee Ray, if you remember too, had possessed her body in the Cult of Chucky. So that's another cool thing we get introduced to in this episode. It kind of builds on that in the Cult of Chucky. They started building on the Chucky lore now that he could possess multiple bodies. And they built upon that in this episode, and you kind of saw more of it because it was at the end of Cult of Chucky, which was the last feature that they had made. So, what do you feel about that? That he can now? I've seen some people really like that, and some people don't like this part of the new Chucky lore.
I think it's one of those things. If it's done right, it can be a great thing because, like, in a little spoiler here, like in this episode, he gets burnt. His face is already burnt up, and like unless he switches to another body, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
So I like the fact that he can actually do that. Now, I wouldn't want him doing it every 5 minutes.
But like he gets the army of them, that's what I mean. Like the fact that he can make the now he can multiply. That's what I mean.
Actually, physically multiply him.
Yeah, how they built on that in this episode is and that because he gets his army of Chuckies and now they're dumber and whatever and have different personality quirks to them and stuff. But that's what I meant. Do you like that he can do that now and they built upon that?
I'm okay with it. If that becomes a main storyline, the show is gonna turn into another Freddy Krueger. It's gonna be too campy for me.
Yeah.
If it's one of those things where was that?
That's totally fair. That's why I asked.
Yeah, I think if it's a means to an end, like it's not going to be part of the main show going forward for seasons to come, I'm okay with it if it's part of a storyline. But if it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be a main focus, I don't see how that's going to work very long.
I mean, the way they did it in this season and with it wasn't bad. It was kind of funny. And I can totally see that. I wouldn't want it to be like the main thing and like.
What did you think? What is your opinion on it?
So, like I wouldn't want like every movie or every episode to be now you have to fight an army of Chuckies, but if you bring it out in certain points now that you've introduced the lore and you you don't just use it in moderation when it's appropriate, I wouldn't want them to, because I think it could, like you said, right, exactly what you had said, could be overdone and just, I don't like, I go back and forth because I don't mind it. I think it adds a really cool wrinkle to Chucky and that, because sometimes, even though I love Chucky, it's like you look at it and it's like it's a doll. You should be able to rip this thing to shreds. Or it's a freaking doll. So and you have to suspend your disbelief, and it is a possessed doll, so it's different. But you're still like I get that feeling, so it kind of adds something to it. But I don't. I hope they don't abuse it, like you said. I hope it just they use it when it's appropriate for the story.
That's what they place. Like. Let's say if he's like someone finds out about him is trying to kill him, if he's like these kids are, he could technically have like one kill someone for him, and that one can get killed or whatever, or he can sacrifice one to the to the lamb or whatever to kind of get away kind of thing, and you could have some fun with that where they could be like you said, like some of them aren't too bright, some of them are stupid. Some of them personalities, they're not as evil as he is, whatever.
Yeah,
like you could have different kinds, and you could have fun. But yeah, because you don't do abuse, like you said, abuse it. Again, you said that perfectly. Also, they abuse it.
And I don't think they will.
No,
because I mean
they're too good.
Yeah. if anything's indication of just how they've been going with it, and it's like the way they've been able to do this, we get to see, like I said, we see Chucky had possessed Nika. We get to see in this episode, we get to see some more of Jennifer Tilly. I love Jennifer as Tiffany. Just love Jennifer Tilly. Such a great actor.
Me too.
And she's so perfect in this role as it's just iconic at this point. And we get to see that a little more of the relationship there too, with Charles possessing Nika, who played by Fiona Dourif, who is Brad Dourif's daughter, and Brad Dourif is the voice of Chucky, right?
Yes.
Okay. I get, because Don Mancini wrote it and direct. Yeah, so Brad Dourif is the voice of Chucky, and his daughter, plays Nika. So, and then she plays in some of those flashback scenes. She's playing, what's his face, Charles. So that it just really, really cool. She's a great. Wasn't familiar with her. She's a great actress. This Fiona Dourif. She's great.
This is like one of the best I've ever seen for doing flashbacks and anything I've ever seen before. I don't think I've ever seen anything better for flashbacks in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, the flashbacks are almost as good as the show.
Yeah.
I love watching the flashback. I love learning about Chucky. And you're learning stuff. It's not like they're just doing it just to have a flashback. They're doing it to you can learn like why is Chucky the way he is.
Yeah. Charles E. Ray's backstory here. And it's like, it's great. I know we said it last episode too, but it is amazing. 7 films in a TV show, and they're just now scratching the surface with the backstory. That's impressive that you were able to get 7 films before you're even like I said, scratching the surface with the origin.
You mentioned this last episode that I think it was last episode that like you had alluded to this that very statement that they're just getting into it now.
Yeah.
In this show. And it's like I think you had commented that they could have made a movie just on this alone. And I thought about that since that last episode. I'm like, man, they really could have. Unless maybe they were saving it for the right time and they figured now is the right time of a TV show. And I mean, I don't know how people feel about it because I haven't read a lot about it, but I love it. You guys just heard me say it. I think this is one of the best, if not the best, flashbacks I've ever seen in any show I've ever seen in my life. Like, some flashbacks, I get to the point where it's like, all right, another flashback. This one, I'm like, well, I want another one.
They're so good that they don't feel like flashbacks. It feels like it's just another part of the story that you're learning, and that's you're not like in it saying, okay, this is a flashback. When's it going to end? You're like, no, this is. It just feels like part of the story that you haven't been told yet. They do it really, really well.
I have to remind myself that it's not an extension of the story.
Yeah.
That these are actually the characters from the past that are in now.
Yep.
I have to remind myself, like, no, that's Chucky. Like, that guy becomes Chucky. Like, I have to remind myself because it's just, like the scene with the guy in the chair when Fiona's playing Chucky, Charles Lee Ray.
Yeah.
When he's in her body, and when the dude slaps her, knocks her out, and she wakes up like, "Oh, I can help you," and then she sees the blood, and then he takes over again. It's like done so well.
Yep.
And a lot of subtle things that just make things even better.
Yeah, I like that they introduced in that too. That she, like Fiona, although possessed, now we're seeing that she might get control of her body at some points, and like, which is cool and great. It's just another great story of her, trying to fight off, and like, again, going back to what a great actor she is, having to pull that off, like that somebody's possessing you, but you're trying to be like, just to be able to switch back and forth into these characters like that. That's very impressive, and she does a really, really great job. Like I said, we see Jake and Devon's, their relationship like really heats up at this point. So they
getting stronger.
Yeah, they I like it just for the fact that it's different now that we have like we said, interracial gay couple in as the main characters in a horror film.
Well, it's funny with that whole gay community, the LGBTQ. I can never
Mhm.
say it fast enough. My job just started an implementation of an in service that we have to go through about that. I don't know what it entails, but we're gonna start training for something. Maybe
Really?
to understand or to respect people. I mean, yeah. I guess for the medical personnel, it's becoming a state thing.
Oh, well,
I
at
mean,
my
that's good
work.
because some people, you know how some people are.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Like at my work, we have they just changed the type, but we have a diversity and inclusion team, which actually I'm part of.
What team
And
aren't you part of?
I know
What way
I'm
you're
on.
burnt out, Tom?
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
you're burnt out.
even they say it there. They're like, dude, you're. But the thing is, they ask me to be on every team, and then it's like, and then I tell them because I'm in every fucking meeting, and I'm like, dude,
Tom's
um,
old day consists of meetings.
yeah,
How's Tom
like,
in a meeting?
and but yeah, we have a diversity and inclusion team, and it's whatever, it's corporate PR stuff too, but we do celebrate because every month's a different month, Women's Month, Black History Month, whatever it is. And June is so actually fortuitous that we're reviewing this in June right now. That it's gay
Yep,
pride, all
yep.
that, and we haven't done as much in the last couple of years, but we do more, for each month, have like a dinner or something. And we don't have many gay people that we work with, but I think the same for. I work with a lot of good guys that nobody care. You like, because you said, how some people are, and you
Hmm.
do need that education.
Yep.
Luckily, most of the, I mean, I'm sure some of the guys, whatever, but it's that's cool that your work's doing that because I mean,
Yeah, it's coming up this week, so I'll fill you
they
in next episode on what we did.
yeah, because
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was like, this will be fun.
they
I'm looking
should.
forward to it.
Education is how you learn. But yeah, um, it's yeah, like I just love that they're doing this in a show on TV, a horror show. Like it's big for like the horror genre, and then it's a show on cable television. So I applaud them for doing that because Don Mancini is openly gay.
Don't you feel like this is a perfect show to do that, though?
I do.
I think this is like a perfect show to do something like this.
Yeah.
It just
I
fits with everything, you know. Like I said, Mancini.
and it's weird because like I'm just thinking about that. Like, say you were somebody that just doesn't like is anti-gay or whatever, you could totally cut this right into episode. But and you're watching this and you're like, oh my god. But if you complain about that, then you have to complain about the fact that there's a doll killing and like so it just opens up a
No,
can.
if you're okay with a doll killing people,
Yeah.
but you're worried about two men holding hands in school,
Exactly.
or two boys, I should say, holding hands in school. Like, where are your priorities?
Yeah.
You know,
It's strange to me.
we have more problems in this country than two kids holding hands.
Yeah, I've never got the whole anti LGBT stuff. Like I just don't get it. Doesn't make sense to me. It just like
Me either.
doesn't compute. I'm just like, who cares? Like whatever.
I have my own issues. I don't need to worry about anybody else's.
Yeah, like I
You know,
just people are weird. People are weird.
do whatever you want. As long as you're not hurting somebody, more power to you.
But yeah, no, this was a great episode, and we kind of. I think they hint at this episode. Are we going to see Andy Barclay? Because if you were keen observer, you noticed it was his voice in the first episode. But some people might not have picked up on that. But when he on the phone call, when Jake gets the phone call about the doll, and after he puts it on whatever the fake eBay thing, and it's so. They hint at that, and which is cool too. That are we gonna see the original?
Mhm.
because
I've been waiting for that the whole time. Like when I heard his voice, I was like, oh,
and
bring him back. He'll get Chucky.
and
Like bring him back.
the person that played Andy, the original Andy, he got out of acting. He's successful like music producer or something like
Yeah,
that.
he's doing something. He's doing well for himself.
Yeah,
Last I heard, anyway.
but he got out of acting, and I think this is like one of his only things since Chucky and coming.
Yeah.
If he comes back,
Right.
So, but yeah, this was another great episode. Just advancing the story. We get advancing the story, advancing the mythology of Chucky. Like I said, building upon the fact that he can now inhabit, basically create a little army. Learning more about Nika and getting to see Tiffany, Jake, and Devin. Getting to see more of their relationship.
Don't forget Lexi. Her story arcs involved.
Lexi too. We barely talked, and she wasn't in it as much, but
issues with her boyfriend. He's wondering what's going on.
Yep, and you're seeing her evolution because now they all want to destroy the doll. I'm glad I totally forgot about Lexi. I totally forgot her evolution of a character, and you get to see it more.
She was the epitome of evil, not literally, but like as a person. Like you just want Chucky, please kill her.
Yeah.
Do me the favor.
Yeah,
and now you're like, all right, maybe not. We'll see what happens, but maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, it's such a great character evolution, and
good actress too. It's almost like she's improved.
Yeah, and because they actually in this episode, didn't they? They actually thought that they got the best of Chucky, and this is that episode. That's right, and they. So there was that they thought they did celebrate, they thought they were good, and then they find out that he's back, and even that was just done really well, just because it's just like like that brief moment that they just think they're free, and they did a great job, the kids, even though Jake with the face, I guess we got to mention.
My favorite scene in the whole movie was
what's that?
I wish they made a poster of it when Chucky's burnt face is at the house, the family's house, and he's peeking in the window and it's pouring rain in the background, and you see his face in the window just staring. I'm like, that's a poster moment. That is such a poster. So cool.
That is one of my favorite Chucky looks too. I'm glad you brought that up. Because that's I think they've actually made a Funko. I think I might even have that one. I don't have many left, but I still might have that one. Of the burnt face.
Really?
And that's one of my favorite Chucky looks throughout the movies and stuff, because he's got fucked up a little bit here and there, and that's why he scars and stuff. But the burnt look, I thought that was so good. You're right, that is
melted, and that's cool.
Yeah.
He almost looks sad. Like, oh.
So that was such a quick that was a good effect.
Yeah, I love that. Like poster.
That would be a great poster. That's a great idea. That's a great idea as a poster. You could.
You're out there, guys. Moneymaker.
Yeah, season 2 something. Totally. That's yeah. So just another great episode. Yeah. Oh yeah, we were talking about for that brief moment where they think they're all good, they're celebrating, and then just to be thrown out. They did that really well, I thought.
Yep. I think it's over. Everybody's relaxing. All you're missing is that calming music. That's like, oh, it's all over. Then all of a sudden, it ain't over yet, kiddos.
No. So
round 2 is about to start.
Yeah, I can't you guys, and so this was episode 5. So we're getting into the back I forgot how, is it 8 in the season?
I think it's 10, isn't it?
Is it 8 or 10? I always forget.
Yeah,
everything changes now. It used to be like 13 was the standard, then it was 12, and then for like 45-minute shows, then it was 10, then it was like 9, and then some apps are doing 8. So I never know anymore what it is. But I can't. It really starts to heat up, and it's gonna get It's gonna get even better. But this is a
Tom,
great.
you're right, Tom.
It was 8.
It was 8.
I thought so. I think that's what Syfy does now is a because
Never listen to me.
um Resident Alien, which is on Syfy, I believe that was 8 episodes too, which is a pretty funny show. But yeah, this another great episode. I mean, anything else? Anything I missed that you think we
No,
didn't
we
we
covered
should
everything.
talk about?
We got all the main characters. Covered Lexi and her changing.
She has the best character arc of any of them, I think, in the whole show. Just from where she goes from episode 1 to episode 8. That's the just character arc. I'm not saying she's the best character. Just the arc of the character is the best.
Jake's got his constipated look going strong for him.
Yep. We have to mention it just because he does that. Hopefully we don't see that as much next season.
Yeah, well, he's a meme for the rest of his life now.
Yeah, so we probably won't unless they really play into it. But
yeah, they could. Yeah,
turn it back on its head maybe a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, another. So, what are you giving this episode?
So I'm actually giving it a different rating than I normally been giving it, and part of it is because it did slow down a little bit as far as the pace, not in a bad way, but it did slow down. I'm giving it a 3.75 as a rating, and that's only because it did slow down a little bit, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just feel like it was needed just to kind of reset things, but at the same time, I'm a go kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
So I want action all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know why they did it. I'm just saying from my personal taste, which, like I said, if they went by what I like, no show would ever last more than 2 episodes. So
no, that's fair though. That's totally fair.
I give it a 3.75. How about you?
I'm going lower than last week, just because I'm like I like story, I like filler, I do. And last week we were super high. We were like 4.75. I think you were 4.8 or something. Yeah. So I was going to give this about a 4, just because it did slow down a bit, but it's just. But it was really good. Like there was nothing. I had no problem with it because I feel like stories need to. Yeah. It's just when those episodes that are going at that sort of breakneck pace, they're just so good and so engrossing that you're just like, when it's over, you're like, oh shit, that felt like 5 minutes. And not that this felt long. It just it was different. A different episode.
Yeah.
So, but
it didn't feel long at all. It felt like it was a good paced episode, and it's good because it resets yourself. And if it goes too fast, you're afraid you could miss something.
Or if it goes too fast, where are you at the end? Is it too ridiculous now? Because you like a lot of franchises, even Freddy or Heart Nightmare, it's like if you're killing 5 people in the first scene, in the last scene, you got to kill 500.
You're right. Yep, yeah, that I'll do it.
So, you do need these episodes, but it was still excellent. I mean, it's great. Like I said, you learn.
It's a great show, and if you're not watching it, you should be watching it, and you should watch it before the new season starts because you're gonna want to watch the new season because it's gonna be good.
Yes, can't wait. Can't wait.
By that. So, any final words, Tom?
No, just check it out, guys. It's good.
All right, yeah. So stay tuned. If we have any news on season 2, we'll let you know that too. Also during these episodes. So yeah, so stay tuned for that stuff, and let us know what you think about this episode. Let us know what you think about Chucky. What's your favorite horror movie? Do you like horror movies? Let us know. Let us know what you think of Chucky himself. Did you ever have a good guy doll? Let us know. Talk to us. So on that note, for Tom and myself, we are out of here. Everybody, have a good, safe weekend and be safe, everybody, and love each other.